getting ready to do my makeup, and I thought I would show you how I use Bella Cream Bronzer as a primer for my foundation. So if you have dark under eye circles or hyperpigmentation or anything like that, doing the bronzer first might allow you to use less product and just really even out your skin tone and look a little bit more natural. I like to use this technique, especially during allergy season, or if I'm not getting a ton of sleep. It just kind of does the work for me, and I use less product and less time to create the look that I am going for. So I wanted to show you how to do that. I am using Seint Beauty products. They're all cream-based, except for the eyeshadows. They are a powder. This is a highlight and contour, which is a 3D foundation system, but they also offer other products. You pick and choose what you want and you build your own palette, which I can help you with. I'm gonna be using the blush and bronzer brush and Bella Bronzer. It can be a little scary, especially if it's brand new. So I'm just gonna take the bristles, give it a squeeze so the bristles are kind of more on the thin side, and then just tap. That way I'm not getting the products that are next to it. So from there, if it is a brand new Bella Bronzer, you can just tap on the back of your hand, see how much excess. I mean, this stuff is so pigmented. Okay, so then from there, I'm gonna sweep it around my face. I like to start on my forehead, and then I just sweep, working my way into the eye. So I want this area to just have this nice sheer layer of bronzer. So you can already see that this side looks a little bit more warm, but it doesn't look orangey, and it doesn't look like necessarily more tan. It just has like an even glow to it because this product is so sheer. Repeating that on this side, squeeze the bristles, tap, 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 and just work it into the skin. And I'm just gonna work off the back of my hand and use whatever product is left. Just put it all over. And now I'm ready to apply my highlight shades. It feels so good. It feels so good. Okay, moving on. Now, you can use the small end of the brush, or you can use a different brush, whatever you want. For me personally, I like to do the blend brush on days where I really want my makeup to look super natural. This is a perfect brush if you are heavy-handed, or you're brand spanking new to Seint Beauty, or if you really like a very natural finish, okay? So the blend brush. I'm just going to tap into my main highlight shade, which you need to be color matched first. Don't go online and try to match yourself. And then I'm just gonna swing lightly under my eye. So you let the pigment do the work and not the makeup. So you'll notice that you'll see my skin is starting to have like, I don't know, like a filtered effect, but you don't see the makeup going on. That's the key, is to allow the pigment to do the work for you. Let me zoom in really close so you can see, I have hyperpigmentation and stuff, but you cannot see the makeup on my skin, but there's clearly a difference, right? So I will go ahead and do that over here, and I will color correct this probably at the very end. I've noticed that if I try to color correct too soon, it just wipes it away. So I color correct at the very end. So I'm just taking this color, and it's a highlight shade, and just sweeping it under my eyes. Did you see that magic happen? So you can't, I mean, my skin looks like skin. It looks normal. It doesn't look makeup-y. So I am just going to lightly put that everywhere. Just going to continue to sweep everywhere. Now, if you have breakouts, I'll show you what to do next. So let me go in really, really close. Let's just get up close and personal so you can see that I'm allowing the pigment to do the work and not the makeup. I think a lot of people feel like they have to see the makeup go on, and you know, there's nothing wrong with that. If you like that, then do it. But if you want something really natural, or you know, if the makeup is not working out for you, it's probably because you're putting too much on, even if you think you're not putting too much on. We're super close. Okay, I am going to take this small end of the brush as opposed to the bigger end, and I'm picking up my main highlight shade, and on my breakouts, I'm going to press. What's cool about this is that it will add the coverage, but the bristles will kind of help. They're firm enough to put on enough coverage, but it's like spread out enough where it diffuses the product. So it looks nice and natural and blended. I love that. Okay. I'm gonna color correct these later, so just bear with me there. Still picking up my main highlight shade. I, for whatever reason, have red above my brows. I have been like that since, I don't know, I was in high school. It's kind of annoying. So I'm just picking up a little bit of the highlight shade and going right above the brow just to knock out that redness a little bit. I did already fill in my brows before I started filming this, but I might have to touch it up. Anywho, let's move on to contour. Using the same brush, you could use a different brush if you want. The detail brush is a great brush for contouring, but I am going for a super natural look today, so I am using the blend brush. I am just going to be sweeping the brush into the product. This is Astoria Contour. And see where there is already natural shadows. If you have a very round face, which my face is pretty round, but I still can see a little bit of shadow here and here. And then you can naturally see that there's shadow there. You can see that there's shadow here. Obviously there's shadows here, here, here. We don't want to emphasize those shadows, but we do want to emphasize this because these are the main structures of our face. And when we emphasize the shadows here, it brings attention towards our eyes. So I am going to apply the contour here. Okay, so let's go in really close. So again, I already started without filming. Sorry. Okay, so again, I want the pigment to do the work and not the makeup. So all I want you to be able to see is that a shadow is appearing. This is not a shadow. That is my hyperpigmentation. I was a lifeguard and didn't wear sunscreen. Spent my teen years in a tanning bed. You know, all those things. Have to get all tan for homecoming and prom, and now it's coming out. Okay, so see how there's a shadow? You can't see the makeup. You can't see the makeup. You just see the shadow of the pigment. Okay, so let's do the other side. Just grabbing some contour. Now, the contour is a different consistency compared to the highlight shades. The highlight shades are creamier because we want them to go on the skin like butter. Now, the contour though, because it's mimicking the look of a shadow, we don't want it to slip and slide all over the face. We want it to be where we put it. We want it to stay there because if it starts sliding, you're gonna look like you have a 5 o'clock shadow. So this is a denser consistency. It's not super creamy. It's almost more like a chalky consistency, and you want that. You want that. So when you pick up the contour, you're gonna give like a firmer wiggle as opposed to tapping onto the highlight shades. Okay, so now going on to the application. Okay, let me zoom you in real close. So whenever you're looking in the mirror, you're gonna see where you have natural shadow. I have a pretty round face, so you might not see the shadow as much, and that's okay, but there is a little shadow right there. And then there's naturally a shadow right here. So I'm just going to apply the contour in this section and then blend it out. So we just want the shadow to appear. We don't want the makeup to appear. We're just emphasizing the natural shadows. This is what's gonna give you the 3D look and still look nice and natural, but put together. Okay, now I am going to do my nose. The nose is easy because I'm not going to change the structure of my nose, although you definitely can. You can change the structure of your face and all of that. But for everyday, like super fast, easy, I am just adding the dimension where I naturally have dimension. When you put on a layer, one layer of foundation, you're losing your dimension because it's all one color. And that's why it looks so fake, because you're just like one nasty color of skin. And that's not how we're made. We have natural shadows and highlights and all of that on our face. So this is just going to look more natural when you emphasize the shadows. I like to run a little contour right here because we have that shadow here. And when you emphasize that, it just makes your lips look a little bit more full. So moving on to blush, same brush. You can go back to this guy if you want. I like to use one brush. A blush really adds life back to the face, doesn't it? If you're not a blush wearer, go back to the Bella bronzer and just apply your bronzer right in this area just to bring some more life back to your face. Now, before going into color correcting these spots, I want to brighten a little bit more just around my eyes just to make me look nice and awake. So you could use either this end or you could use this end of the brush. I will use this end. I'm just going to take this small amount of my lighter highlight shade. This is my overall color and this is my lighter color. From the lighter shade, I am just going to see how there is a shadow right here. I'm just going to apply that brighter color there and just lightly feather into that shadow so it brings it forward and it makes my eye look a little bit more awake. So I'm not really going this whole entire area. I'm just kind of brightening right there. Let's do that again. Remember that these are creamier, so you don't have to be super firm. I'm just tapping a couple times in there, going right into that shadow, so you'll just look straight into the mirror, see where you have that shadow, and then you want to brighten that area by bringing it forward while using a lighter, brighter shade. See how it just makes everything look so much more awake. Now I want to go right down the center of my nose. I like to do an exclamation point. I think that looks so pretty. And then the center of my forehead, Cupid's bow, and just a touch on my chin that just brings all of this forward. Nice and pretty. And now I'm just blending this out. Now what we're gonna do is we are going to color correct these pesky brown spots. I am using the highlight shade called Mango and the multitasker brush. It is a very tiny, thin, synthetic bristled brush. We are going to use the tiniest amount of product. Remember how I said, allow the pigment to do the work, not the makeup. So this is very much the instance. So I want you to take a look at how little of product I use. I just did one little tap. And then what I do from here is just, see, I just look at the shadow and I press. And sometimes I'm like, wow, nothing is happening. But I just keep pressing because I can't see the product go on. I can't see the makeup. I allow myself to allow the pigment to do the work. I just keep pressing. Sometimes I pick up just a little bit more, but I continue to press until I'm like bored out of my mind. So I feel like that does a really good job of covering. I could do a little bit more, but honestly, I would rather people see me and not my makeup. So I'm gonna stop there because I feel like if I continue to try to cover this, it's gonna get cakey and goopy and I just don't care. So I am gonna take just a little bit more. And on this side, I am going to start pressing and tapping. And this might be so boring to watch, and I do apologize for it being boring, but this is something that I get questions on all the time. So I just kind of want to show you what I do. And I just keep at it. just let the pigment do the work, because you think you're out of pigment because you don't see the makeup go on. I'm just like taking the tip of my brush and just pressing. So obviously this part is in my blush shade. So what I do is I take my finger and then I'll just ever so lightly tap around like where I am color correcting, because like I color corrected this area. I don't want blush here, but I want blush there. So I just like so lightly. Okay, so that's how I do that. Now I like to take a sponge and just really press. I'm just pressing into my skin to make sure that I don't have excess product. Even though I really didn't use that much product, I don't want people to see the makeup necessarily. So we can zoom on in. You got to be very careful. Fix that brow. Got to be very, very careful with the color correcting spots that you do, because the creams do lay on top of the skin. They're not absorbed. Traditional foundation, or like a liquid, it's made in 90% water, so essentially your skin is eating it. With the creams, there's no water in it whatsoever, so it lays on top of the skin, which is awesome because it allows the moisture of your natural skin to hold the moisture, and it also doesn't allow stuff to get into your skin, which is super cool. But it also, because it's laying on top of your skin, can move around. So you just have to be very careful. And look, if something shifts, it takes 2 seconds to touch it up. It's not that big of a deal. I often get accused of using filters during makeup videos and stuff like that. This stupid chair. But as you can see, I don't have a filter whatsoever. I am in really good natural light. My skin looks like skin. You can see my scar. You can see, you can see all the things. It's just a matter of applying the makeup. I do think that my makeup does look filtered. Sometimes I'm like, dang, my skin looks good. But really, it's just the makeup, and it's the application process of applying the makeup. So I hope you found this video helpful. I need to do my eyes and all of that, but I feel like this is enough information. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Always here to help, no matter what. And if you're interested in getting color match to create your own custom palette, all you have to do is go to amandamillermakeup.com/color match. I'll walk you through the whole thing. There's a link in my bio, and I will put a link in this video as well. Just know that I'm here to help. See you soon. Bye.